Teto word of the day!
Cupcakes. You know them, you love them, but don't you wish they were a little bit more vocal synthy? Well, today I've got a treat. To celebrate the release of my new song, Sugar Sweet, I'm going to try and create the famous, maybe even infamous, teto cupcake. As you will see behind me, kind of, there. Actually, 1 second. There she is, in all her cupcake pixelated glory. Now I need to go ahead and say some ground rules before you watch this video. First of all, watch the entirety of it before you start making it yourself. You'll be very surprised about some areas of it. You know, you just have to wait overnight for some situations. Number 2, don't expect it to look like that. The first time that I did it, it turned out fine, but you know, that's a computer drawing. This is real life. I am not a baker. I am a music producer. Quite different things. The third thing, don't expect everything to be professionally done. I make beats. I make the bleeps and bloops. I don't typically make the cupcake and the icing and the other. Oh, this is a worrying start. You may also be wondering why I look and sound like I'm coming to you from a call center. That is because my scuffed setup that I had planned for this was so scuffed that it didn't even work, even slightly. So I've stolen my dad's. Well, firstly, I've stolen my parents' kitchen to do this, because if I was doing it in my kitchen, it would be better to film in vertical rather than horizontal. But I've also stolen my dad's headset for work, which I bought him, by the way, so if anything, this is fair? Maybe? There are absolutely no clean things in here. Don't mind me. So, without further ado, let's begin with the first, easiest step, making the raspberry ganache that will eventually turn into the general hair area of the cupcake. I love that you can hear my accent every now and again, especially when it comes to cupcake. Oh, bloody hell. Looks like we've got to make another cupcake, boys, before we go down pit. So I'm going to be using a recipe from Lily Bakery. I wasn't expecting it to come up there. I thought it was going to come up here, but you know, this works as well. It's a raspberry ganache without butter. It's lovely and light, and turns into the color that you want it to, based on all the food coloring that I'm going to dump into it. Again, don't expect me to help you when it comes to making yours. You're on your own. But for me, it's pretty simple. Oh no. Very simply, you have to put some cream in the pot to get to pretty much a boil. Then add the raspberry coulis, which I have so carefully already made. Mix that together. Then once that's still nice and heated, pour it over the white chocolate until the white chocolate melts, and there you have your traditional ganache. However, we're going to add a little bit more cream at the end of it, which will be food colored, so it turns pink and also becomes very light, and then we can put it in the fridge overnight. That's not happening. It's 10 o'clock and I'm running out of time as it is, because I decided to graciously sleep in during the holiday period. Oh, I'm so selfish. 100 milliliters of cream goes in there. I'm going to get a spatula. Scrape the remaining bits of cream into there. Ignore the cream that went onto the hob. So you want this to heat up fairly slowly, because if you catch, if you heat it up a little bit too fast, then it catches at the bottom and, it starts to burn. You've got time. You've got plenty of time. You're totally not going to run out of recording space anytime soon. Are they going for 9 minutes? We can cut around this part. There's nothing exciting happening here. I can't even look at my phone because it's currently being used to record this. So I'm just kind of standing here in silence listening to the voices in my head, which is usually not a good situation. What we can do while we're waiting for this to warm up is to break down the white chocolate into small chunks so it's easier for it to melt. Oh, thank God. They recommend a glass bowl. Use whatever bowl you want. I'm not your mother. We can also measure out the extra cream that's going to go in at the end. For the eventual 220 milliliters of cream that's going to go in and the 150 grams of raspberry coulis, you're going to need 150 grams of white chocolate. I don't know why I'm telling you this. Again, not a baker, just a music producer, but I thought it'd be worth... Oh, I need to measure this out. What's a little extra white chocolate between friends anyway, you know. White chocolate is flying everywhere. And guess what? I don't care. Didn't think I'd be hit by white chocolate shrapnel this morning, but you know, needs must. Gotta get the algorithm pumping. Gotta get people interested. Can't just release music anymore. You gotta make a whole damn cake situation just to get people to be interested. I'm sorry. That was unprofessional. I apologize. So I'm going to add a little less than half of this 250 milliliter bottle. A little bit more than... We'll work it out. Do I have ways of measuring this to make sure that it actually turns out to be the amount that it should be? Yes, but is that entertaining? Ask yourself, is that entertaining? Or do you prefer me to just guess, see what happens? So whilst that gets back to a good heat for it to melt the entire chocolate, it's time to tetify our rest of our cream by putting in what I would consider an unhealthy amount. I want it to be a little bit redder than that. After all, the twin drills are going to be made out of raspberries, rather. So they've got to compete with that level of redness. Okay, my patience is waning, and this is not getting any hotter no matter how much heat I pump into it. So I'm just going to go ahead and pour it into the chocolate and just see what happens. And now we shall mix it around. And why we're saying we, you're not helping me, are you? Slacker. Now I will mix around the coulis so it melts all of the chocolate that's in there, which will gradually lighten the entire ganache mix. And just like that, we have lovingly made this. Now I know what you're thinking, Mizu, this isn't very appetizing. You really should stick to keeping making music. Watch your tone, number one. And number two, we're not done yet. So now that's all melted, we can add our cream that's been pre-tetified. Now we get that mixed in. And then hopefully I'll be able to show you just how good it looks. And just like that, we have our ganache. It looks lovely, bold red. You can still see the flecks of raspberry through it. It's nice and smooth. And there you go. Half the battle is done. I'm going to now put this in the fridge to set. It says for overnight or even just a couple of hours, but you know I don't have that kind of time. So just give me 1 second. Shit. Well, no, not only did the fridge assault me with a bit of milk, there's also no room in the fridge for this to go. Luckily, the temperature outside in Britain at the moment is about fridge temperature. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover this up with a bit of cling film or saran wrap, or whatever you want to call it, and put it in my car. It's a fridge. If you think hard enough, it's a fridge. I'll see you in a second, I guess. Only imagine what the neighbors must think by me doing this. There was someone getting in their car as I was putting that in my car, dressed like this. I must never return here again. Well, as I went out to my car, my phone connected to the Android Auto, which means that the camera died for a second. Professional. Don't forget to subscribe. Okay, now I'm going to clean down my surface a little bit. I'm going to attempt the cupcakes. Now, you can use whatever cupcake recipe that you want. It's a free world. However, I'm going to be using the one from Recipe Tin Eats because it said and claimed that it would stay fresh for longer. And I can guarantee you that that is true. Preheat oven to 160 fan for 20 minutes before starting the batter. This lovely oven is very fancy, and nothing like the one that I have at home. So, I'm thinking we could probably get away with it if we maybe had it on for 5-10 minutes instead of the 20 minutes. 150 grams of flour. Is that 150 grams of flour? Brilliant, that went from 149 to 158. I've now got 149 grams of flour. It says 0.13 tablespoons of salt. I personally think that's an attack on people that use the metric system. Because they're like, oh, is a pinch not specific enough for you? Oh, take 0.13 teaspoons and shove it up your ass. It says to whisk those so that it's all evenly incorporated. So eventually, when you get to the... Oh! He's chimed in there. Wait your turn. Now, as I was rudely interrupted with the oven going up to temperature, I have now combined my dry ingredients. I will now combine my wet ingredients with butter and milk in a heat-proof jug. Oh, for God's sake. It's fine, it's all good. My parents seem to have 2 heat-proof mugs for some reason. Not going to question it, because it's really helpful in this moment in time. It means I don't have to do any washing up. Oh, I can't see what that reads at all. Can you? Yeah, let's make this into a Dora the Explorer situation where you can tell me whether or not that's 125 or not. 60 grams of butter. Once again, cut into small cubes so that, surface area is bigger. Means it can melt in a more reasonable time. I really hope my parents don't watch this back, because they'll see what I'm doing and they'll be like, okay, I see what you've done there. You've decided to ruin our kitchen that we paid and cared for so lovingly. Looks like we're going to now ruin your life. No, it's fine. You've made your bed, you can lie in it. Unfortunately, it is a bed of thorns and nails. You ungrateful bastard. Right, that's all of the butter in. I'm just now going to warm this up for 2 minutes on high. Who thought it was a good idea to write a song that utilized any form of sweet goods? This is the situation I put myself in. No one else, just me. In a separate, preferably heavy-based glass bowl. 30 seconds on speed 6 on a handheld beater. So I've got this bad boy. Beater. Slots in there. 2 large eggs. They say to be room temperature, but I say... You don't know how difficult my life is. 1 egg, 2 egg, sugar. And that's not me trying to not curse. Genuinely, the next thing I need to do is the sugar. I have run out of fancy baking bowls, so I'm going to resort to just a normal breakfast bowl and fill it full of sugar. Don't we already with the cereals that we eat? Social commentary. Please subscribe. Okay, things are about to get very loud, and I apologize in advance, but... Needs be for releasing a music video. Just gonna let that go for 30 seconds, and then I'm gonna pour the sugar in for 30 seconds, let it evenly distribute, and then I'm gonna put it on full blast for 6 minutes. Now, time for the sugar. If you have any opinions about what's going on, please leave them in the comments where I will say, everyone's a critic. Been and gone in a minute. You've got one life, so live it. Low. So now that's done. You add 1/3 of the flour, beat it around for 5 seconds until you can't see the flour anymore. Do again for the next third, and then for the last bit, keep going until all the specks of flour have gone, and then stop immediately so you don't beat it too much. Et voila! Should look something like this. Now this is where things get a bit fucky-wucky. In this bowl, you have to now put the hot milk, vanilla, and oil. So you slam 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract in here, 1.5 teaspoons of vegetable of canola oil, sure, In here, I now have all my butter, my milk, the vanilla extract, and some oil. And I'm going to add 3/4 of a cup of this batter into it, whisk it together, and just, I don't know, hope for the best. It should look foamy, it should look nice, it should look like I'm competent at what I'm doing. Now you may be like, Mizu, what are you doing with that whisk? That's not how you whisk. Again, don't tell me what to do, and mind your business. But also, it is also quite effective, especially in such a small ball like this. It still does the whisking thing that you need to do, but it also saves your forearm from being ruined for the rest of the day. I've got an escape room to go to this afternoon, and I really want to punch one of those live actors, so I want to preserve as much of my punching muscles as possible. The last step before putting it into the bun tins that I've totally prepared is that you just combine the two slowly for about 15 seconds, and hopefully it should turn into some very nice, pourable but lovely silky smooth batter. The light on the top of my phone just started flickering, and I'm quite worried that means it's running out of battery. So this is the first step in the design process, in the arty bit, in the entire point that I'm making this. I shall use these pastel cupcake cases. But not only am I using the pastel cupcake cases, I'm only using the pink to match the design, which I can now bring up because I don't need the instructions anymore. So these should do 12 buns quite nicely. The ganache should also do 12 buns quite nicely. If you get a little bit left over, just shove it into your mouth. And then raspberries. Raspberries are raspberries, aren't they? You need 24. 2 twin drills for each teto, so you can devour her knowing that everything is accurate to the character. So these only need to be 2/3 full for them to rise properly at 2 ice cream scoops worth. I'm under pressure to perform like I am always in control of the baking I behold. I should now put this in the oven, 160 degrees Celsius, whatever that is, Fahrenheit, for about 24 minutes. I'll keep an eye on them to make sure that they don't overbrown or explode. And also, you'll be keeping an eye on them too, because I'm moving the camera over there. Come on! Let's go! Why aren't you moving? These are looking a lovely golden brown. I'm just going to leave them as is for a couple of minutes and take them out of the tray, put them on a cooling rack, and let them cool for a little bit, because it needs to be cool, at least room temperature, for it to have the ganache on the top and not just melt, and we don't like melty teto hair. So now while we're waiting for these to cool down properly so we can put the ganache on top, I am now going to create the eyes and mouth to the best of my abilities. Everything up to this point has been fairly manageable. It's when I start to get artistic, that's when things usually go downhill. I'm going to have to be doing this while straddling a tripod, which I'm sure that all the professionals do. Jamie Oliver, Mary Berry. Oh, Mary Berry likes to straddle a tripod, that's right. I can cut this. I think it's probably best that I cut this. So you kind of need it into a thickish paste like this, where, you know, it holds its form a little bit, but it's still a bit malleable. This isn't the final form that it's going to be in, but it is the form that we're going to put our food coloring into. Ah! So for this example, I will be using violet food coloring, not only because the eyes are violet, but also in honor of the brilliant artist Violet that did the music video assets for this, and, you know, just all-round talented human being. Right, brilliant. The video throws throughout all of that, but here we have almost a perfect thickness of icing for the facial features, and that's the eyes. I shall do the same now with the mouth. Now those are done, I'm going to go out to my car again and get my ganache. Please just don't fall. Just don't fall one time. Just stay there. You're supposed to stay there. I'm gonna get my ganache, and if it falls while I'm gone, that's between that and God. Oh, it's a bit windy. Okay. Here is the ganache. Fairly set. Fairly cold. Thankfully, it's going into a cold bowl with a cold whisk in it, so it still will keep its cold. Oh no, I'm getting dumber the longer I do this. Welcome to the mixing section. In here, we'll put the ganache that we so lovely made and chilled. You may find that your ganache is a lot more solid than this when you make it yourself and, make it properly. But this will do me fine because the extra air that I'm about to whip into it will give it a little bit more buoyancy. And also, when it's softer, it's easier to pipe, but you have to pipe a lot quicker and you have to be a lot more lenient with what comes out of it because, God, I can't even draw a straight line or a circle, let alone draw 3D in pink. I'd say that's got enough air in it. It's holding itself onto the whisk. So now what we're going to do is we are going to lovingly move you back and wafting it like they do on Bake Off. Basically a professional now. Okay, so that did nothing. We're just going to roll with it and hope for the best. And if this doesn't work out, then I've got 11 other tries to get it right. So what I do for my hair is I start at the back. Start just doing a line here, line back there, about 3 lines there, then do, a little bit of that. And that's kind of the hair. This definitely needs to be colder for it to hold the shape that I need it to hold. Whilst we're waiting for the ganache to freeze, we can always start on the extra bits. So either get 1 or 2 piping bags depending on how much you care about the environment. I drive an electric vehicle, so that means I'm allowed to use 2. You're going to want to snip the smallest end off the top of this so that you have the most control over what comes out of it. Here come the eyes. Everyone's prey. Okay, that's something. And then the second bag for the mouth. And then the final ingredient, and there you have it. A little bit of a teto cupcake. I'm now going to put this one back on the cooling rack. I'm going to take another one up, and I'm going to show you what it looks like when the ganache is a little bit cooler. So there it is with a little bit more of a cold ganache. As you can see, the hair's got a little bit more definition, and it's cold enough to put a cowlick on there. She looks a bit shocked at the situation, but to be honest, if any of us were in this situation, it'd be the same way. So I'm now going to do all of these, hopefully in a nice quick montage. So, after many, many hours, here are our 12 beautiful cupcake tetos. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for checking out my song, Sugar Sweet. If you haven't already, the link will be somewhere. You can just go onto my channel, and whilst you're there, you might as well hit subscribe, hit like, do whatever you want. If you ever make these, if you ever do either follow what I just did or do your own thing, please let me know. Please send it to me on Twitter, on Blue Sky, or just tag me in a short or the video that you actually make it in. It would mean the world to me that you tried this out just because of me and my songs, and just the thought of that alone is incredible. So it would mean the world to me for me to check it out, and I would give you so much praise in the comments. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for baking with me, if you did. And I'll see you in the next song, which will be out soon. Oh my God, my hands are awful.